Welcome to Good Morning Joy, brought to you by our friends at Brave Healer Productions, waking the world up to what's possible for healing, one brave word at a time. I'm Shari, your host, and I am so excited that you are hanging out with me today. I assume you're here because you're here for some feel-good energy, and not to brag or anything, but I'm pretty confident that we are gonna over-deliver on that. I've got such a fun show for you today. You are gonna meet the kitchen psychic. Hannah McKitrick is here, and she says that we can ditch the diet to intuitively eat, and not only will we be lighter in our body, but we will also be happier in our mind and our soul. And then we are zooming all the way into the city of brotherly love, where you're gonna meet one of the stars of the Golden Bachelor, Susan Noles. And then, of course, I'll be talking to some special peeps on the street on this week's Sharing with Shari. All this and more on today's show. So make sure that you've grabbed your favorite cuppa, flash me that smile, and let's go. Now, normally at this time of the show, I share with you a good news story that is happening somewhere in the world that brightens my day. But today, I'm going to share with you someone who brightens my day on the Joy Report. So it's been a while since I've actually been really excited about watching a show, and the Golden Bachelor was one of them. I'm so excited for you to meet all the way from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Susan Noles. Welcome to the show, Susan.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I couldn't think of a better segment than to have you in the Joy Report, because we are always sharing the good things happening in the world that brighten my day. And honestly, the moment I saw you on the Golden Bachelor, I was like, Susan brightens my day.
Because you're an East Coast girl originally.
Yeah, that's right. And the hoops are there to prove it. Tell me about what that was like first getting cast in the show.
I couldn't believe it. So it was 3.5 years after I filled out an application. And I thought they didn't like me, so I forgot about it. And then last March, a year ago, this month, I got a phone call and they shut down production due to the pandemic and asked me if I was still interested. I said, absolutely. The process was crazy exciting, and then to find out I was going to go on, I was just like living my best life. It was a hell of an experience.
Well, and it seems like you're still living that experience, but even like a greater chapter. Would you say that this chapter, since it's ended, is even better?
It's even better. Yes. Yes. I was pretty well known because I've done hair and makeup and I do weddings. So I'm out there and I never meet a stranger. I've been told I look like Kris Jenner for the last 35 years. I think she looks like me, actually.
Of course. Have you had a chance to meet her yet?
No, she did reach out to me, and you saw that on the show, saying she loves my style and my haircut. But I will meet her someday.
Of course you will. And this is just, I know you've done a million interviews, but this is just another plea. Kris, you have to meet Susan. You kind of knew right off the bat that it was more of a friendship.
Not right off the bat, maybe by the second or third time we sat together. And then I made the man laugh a lot because I was authentically, unapologetically myself. I think that's why the East Coast just loves me. Because they can respect that. I'm very outgoing. Yeah. And like at the rose ceremonies, he would get so choked up, and we have this thing. We even did it in the wedding. It was my signal to him, like, it's okay, hon, you got this, and we just connected in that way. Romantic wise, not so much.
What brought me so much joy was just your truth, your authenticity. And what was so great about that show is, I was watching The Bachelor for years with all the younger women, and just watching everyone just let loose and not care and talk about gas.
My God, it was the guacamole.
Of course it was.
I've been eating meatballs for 66 years and don't get gas. And I didn't try to hide it. I mean, It is what it is. And that comes with age, It is what it is.
And I think that's what was so freeing for everybody about the show is, and especially I think as a great example for young women to see like ultimately like who you are and why hide it, because the person you're going to end up with is going to find out all of the gas. They're just going to find out all that stuff anyway. What would you say at this point in your life is, the greatest life lesson that you've learned?
To love myself again. And it's okay to be me. But I wish I could have felt like I do now at 35. I feel like I'm living my best chapter.
It feels that way to all of us that are watching you. I'm like, I'm glad you didn't end up with him, because I don't think that we would see this same side of you. And I know that there is that partner out there for you. What secretly, so a lot of people don't know about it, brings you joy?
People that are kind and recognizing kindness. When I see somebody treat somebody else kind, that just tickles me.
Yes. Thank you for being one of the kind ones, one of the joyful ones, one of the good ones, and one of the most authentic ones. We love you. We wish you nothing but success and joy, and we so appreciate having you on. So joining me today is Hannah McKitrick, the kitchen psychic, and she says that we can heal our mind, body, and soul in the kitchen. She also says that we do not have to choose between eating healthy and enjoying our lives. Hannah, welcome to the show.
Hi, Shari. Thanks for having me. So good to be here.
So good to have you here. I'm so excited to have the kitchen psychic here on the couch with me.
Yes.
So I just want to get the important stuff out of the way. I saw on your website that you were eating cookies and drinking champagne. I just want our viewers to know that this is totally fine of what we're going to talk about today, right?
I was like, what do you see on my website? Yes, that is me. I do drink champagne and eat cookies many nights a week.
And the reason why I'm prefacing that is because, when people hear about what we're going to talk about today, like healthy eating and intuitive eating, people immediately think like, oh my God, I've got to give up my lifestyle. And I saw that right away and I was like, cookies, champagne, I'm in.
Right.
But I want to know what this My Intuitive Health is all about.
Yeah. So are you down to take like a moment back in time?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because it's a journey, you know, as most things are. And so for me, that started, I guess, I don't know, as a young kid, I was obsessed with food. I loved food. I spoke the language of food, right?
Oh, different way. I didn't speak the language, I just ate it.
Okay, good. So like you're a normal child. Yeah. Well, I was making pancakes by myself by the time I was 5, and that might have been because I was the last kid of 4, but either way. And I loved it. And then when I was 12, things kind of took a little bit of a turn, and I got diagnosed with Crohn's disease.
Oh, wow.
And was also suffering from like severe depression and anxiety, and kind of trying to move through life in that way with a body that wasn't absorbing nutrients and a mind that was like, I don't know, I would say attacking itself, all while trying to kind of hide that from the general public. And things started to shift when I was 19. And that's when I turned to a more holistic approach to use food to actually heal my gut. And that's when I actually learned how to nourish my body. And I was eating lots of vegetables, lots of whole foods, whole ingredients, and my body was super happy. It was super nourished, but my mind and soul were like, what the heck are we doing? Like this does not work. Like you are sucking the joy out of life. Like, and
we won't have that.
Right. And I was like, I hear you. Like I am sucking the joy out of life. And that really didn't work for me. And so from that was definitely a turning point for me, where I was like, okay, how can I really combine, honestly maximize, I love to maximize. So I was like, how can I maximize my healthy lifestyle for my body that still brings the joy into my life, into my soul, into my mind? And that's how I really created My Intuitive Health. And it's a lot simpler than I feel like people make health out to be these days. I just have that foundation of those nourishing foods, of vegetables and of one-word ingredients, and then I add in cookies and champagne, and it's like buona notte. Like, what else do you need, you know?
It's like a whole wheat tortilla with
Yes.
stuffed with cookies.
Exactly.
Is that weird?
But it's whole wheat, right? So
Right.
it's like, it's healthy.
You took your own journey with your medical condition. You ended up figuring out a way to heal through that, and then you added joy on top of that.
Yeah.
And now you help your business, Intuitive Health. My Intuitive helps actually people do the same thing. Is that
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm a genius.
Yes. Yes. I like to use the virtual world, world and Italy, either one. But I really help people to bring back the joy in food and to have fun in the kitchen, because I mean, we'll see later in the dish that we're going to demo, but most people think of making dinner and they think, I don't know what to cook, I don't want to go to the store, I don't know how to do it. And so I help to really take away that narrative and replace it with like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to cook this meal. I can't wait to like saute this, experiment here, and like really nourish my body with healing foods.
I loved it. I saw you doing some virtual classes, and you all had like, everyone had wine with them and everybody was cooking together, and it was really fun. And you mentioned, you know, you're known as the kitchen psychic. And so what does that mean? Because you talk about intuition. Is your food talking to you? Like, if I'm nice to my food, will it have less calories? Like, what's the deal here?
So I can feel the vibrations of food. And I didn't necessarily know that that was a thing that not everyone could do. And so when I'm creating a recipe for my classes, I'm feeling the vibrations of food, and I can feel what intuitively goes well together and what's harmonious and will create that vibrancy in someone's system. And so that's how I create recipes. And additionally to that, when I'm teaching a class or holding space, I combine both cooking with energy work. And so, right? Yeah. And so the people that step into my space are able to get an energy transmission of joy, literally of joy. It's like we have so much fun in the kitchen. And this is really important because so many people have negative narratives around food. And so this is just a really simple way to shift any of that baggage, any of that heaviness around food, and just infiltrate joy into the ingredients, into your dish. And to answer your question, yes, your body can tell the difference when you're cooking something from the energy of joy.
I love that. Well, everything is energy, right?
Right.
And so if we are injecting that joy and fun in the kitchen, then are you saying the food feels it too, and then it just naturally reacts in your body differently?
It does, because food is energy and it carries a vibration. And so if you're like drinking wine, sauteing, like trying to get all fancy, chatting with your friends and feeling so whole as you're doing it, your food, you then digest it from that place, and it starts to emulate out of your aura. And it's this ripple effect that's like so much better than a diet, in my opinion. It's a lot more bang for your buck, if you will.
It sounds like it's what's surrounding it, the baggage, the stuff that goes into it.
Absolutely. And I've heard this quote before, is that every person could eat the exact same thing at the exact same time, and they would still all be different sizes. Yeah. And so it's like, okay, what's the differentiating factor? And part of it's genetics and whatever, but also part of it is your relationship to how you're eating and how you're cooking. Really, the cooking, obviously, that's my love language, because it's alchemy, and it's a process that you really have the power to shift your digestion through that.
So what would you say, as someone who's watching, how do they create this different alchemy, I guess, with their food? I don't know if I said that right, but like...
They have fun. They turn up the music. They pop the Prosecco.
So that's literally it.
Yes.
This is like the best. You should market this diet. This diet is all just, it's the joy diet.
Yeah, well, it's also, it's getting creative in the kitchen. It's getting intentional. It's like, you know, people talk about meditation and mindfulness, and that's amazing. And it's basically the same thing in the kitchen, but without having to be still, you know?
Yes.
So I love that. But you're focused on what you're doing, you're taking a moment, you're using your hands, and that automatically stimulates the creative centers in your brain, which just relaxes you and gets you into a calmer state.
And creativity is one of the igniters, I believe, of joy.
Honestly, joy is like, it's the hack for life. If
Yes.
you want to know what the hack for life is, it's have fun.
You heard it here first.
Yes. No, really, like with your food, it's like, specifically with your food, because if you're stressed when you're eating, your cortisol levels rise and your digestion slows. And the opposite is true if you're happy. It's like...
So let me ask you this, what is, as far as like, let's just talk nutrition for a minute. So what is your, I mean, you have to have a belief in some sort of nutrition, right? Like besides the cookies and Prosecco, as much as I want to hear that.
Okay, I studied Eastern medicine, I studied Western medicine. I learned so much. And I was kind of like, you guys are all way too complicated. Like this, there has to be an easier solution to this. And so for me, the common denominators that I found throughout all of my studies and experience are vegetables and
We're cooking those today.
We are cooking vegetables because they're the best. And whole foods, one word ingredients. And so that's kind of the baseline for what I go to when I think of healthy food, because for me, if I'm trying to think of like macros and measuring and weighing and proportions and this, I get stressed out.
Yeah.
And like, that's not joyful. So for me, I just think of those two things. And I'm like, okay, great, healthy. And then from there, I add in whatever I want to increase the joy. So whether that's cheese or it's usually cheese. So if I'm being honest, cheese and veggies go really well together. So.
Okay, and so I know that we talk about, you know, not just the body, the physical body, but also our mind and our spirit. And I know that when we feed, this I have learned, that when we feed our body certain things, then there is a clear channel. Would you say, to spirit? And is that part of the mind and the soul and people feeling more joy after they inject joy than they feel the food?
Absolutely. It's like, have you ever heard the saying of like, you, not even saying, but lived experience, if you eat like a meal and you feel really heavy afterwards and you're just not as connected, you feel sluggish, versus if you're eating this vibrant food, you feel more vibrant, and your connection to your own intuition actually increases. Like there's more vitality in you. The foods have a higher vibration, and it increases your own vibration, which increases your consciousness, if we're gonna get really esoteric, but like, why not? And
you're speaking my language, by
the way. Okay. It does. It raises your consciousness, which allows you to be able to hear your intuition or feel or whatever, see. However your intuition works.
So let's go back a little bit. So was this, I know you said like you cooking pancakes since you were a kid, all of that. What about in school? Like, did you study cooking, or what, how was that your professional? Because now you're teaching it and you're doing retreats in Italy, which I'm going to.
Yes, I can't wait. We're gonna have so much fun. So I was trying to be a really good person of what I thought was a good person. And so I went to school for economics, right? Because that was fancy and whatever.
And everyone would be very impressed by that.
So, you know, I did that for like a minute. And then after working in my corporate job for almost 2 years, I was like, okay, my joy is calling me to Italy. Like, and so my passion was cooking and is cooking and food. And so I was researching further education on that. I found this program in Italy, and I quit my job and went to southern Italy to study culinary.
This is why I like you. One of the reasons.
I mean, it was so fun.
So you went there, you took on cooking, and then you got a master's in, or you did something with cooking? Tell me about the educational.
Yeah, I got master's of Italian cuisine, and then I studied at the Academy of Healing Nutrition to bring more of the Eastern, I always have to think, never eat soggy waffles. Eastern medicine, that's what I do.
I was just Nezwa. That was it. Okay.
Obviously mine has to do with food.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I studied both of those. And honestly, I did not learn how to cook in Italy. I learned
how to drink.
Yes, I learned from watching TV. And and from actually embodying and doing the trying out and experimenting. In Italy, what I learned was euphoria.
Yes.
And really how good life can be, how good you can feel, and how powerful the energy that you bring into the kitchen is.
I love that. And we're going to wrap up this segment here in just a minute, but you are going to be having people feel this euphoria in Italy. Talk to me a little bit about this retreat.
So I loved it so much when I studied there that I went back every second that I could. And eventually when I started my business, I collaborate with the school now to actually bring people on retreat there. And so it's a culinary and wellness retreat, right? Because we love higher consciousness, we love intuition and soul work. And so I combine that with hands-on cooking and pizza making, pasta making, all of that stuff to really drive home the trifecta of mind, body, soul.
Amazing. Well, we are about to cook with some mind, body, and soul in just a minute, but we got to go to commercial real fast for a word from our sponsors. We are in the kitchen with the kitchen psychic. Share with us what we're doing here besides getting ready to eat some goodness.
Okay, Shari, honestly, my hidden intention, I'm gonna make you a chef, okay? So Shari says she doesn't cook, okay?
Right.
And I'm going to redefine that because meals like this, honestly, they're so easy. They're so simple. 5 ingredients. That's what we're doing today.
Okay, I can do 5 ingredients.
Can you handle it?
Yep.
Okay, honestly, I don't even know if I'd call this cooking. I'd call it warming ingredients through.
For me, this is gourmet.
Right? I mean, it sounds gourmet, but honestly, it's so simple, and that's why I love it. So we're making sauteed zucchini noodles with pesto, sun-dried tomatoes, artichoke hearts, and Parmesan cheese.
Okay, I love all those ingredients, so we're off to a good start.
Okay, so it's Italian, meets healthy, meets simple, meets some store-bought shortcuts.
Meets joy.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, so you want to start
I'm doing this. Okay.
So these are just zucchini noodles sauteing up, and we're gonna add.
I can't burn them, right?
You can, but I won't let you.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna add sun-dried tomatoes.
Okay.
So this is an ingredient that I love because you can keep this little jar in your pantry for way too long and it won't go bad. Okay.
So this one's packed in oil though, because that makes a difference because I buy ones without oil.
Yeah.
So you have to have it with oil.
It's packed in oil and it's basically concentrated tomato flavor. It makes it almost sweet, which is really nice and adds a little bit of texture and color. We love
color.
The brand colors, right? And it's how much, and we're good. However much you want. There we go.
And we're good with the oil because we talk nicely to the oil and it's not going to be damaging to us.
Well, oil actually helps you digest food. So oil we love.
Okay.
Healthy oils.
Okay.
Okay, so we got our zucchini noodles, we got our sun-dried tomatoes. The next thing, artichoke hearts.
Okay.
And this is another one of those kind of secret pantry staples that last forever. Okay. And they won't go bad. And why I like this is because you can have ingredients on hand to make a quick weeknight meal without having to go to the store. Because at the end of the day, do you really want to go to the store to cook dinner?
I just want to eat.
No, you just want to dump some things in the pan and yeah, have it be yummy.
And normally, though, we would have a glass of Prosecco with this. Is that correct?
Exactly. I'm still waiting for the producers to give me one, but I don't know. Maybe next time.
Is this some of what we're going to do in Italy? We're all going to actually cook ourselves?
Everyone is going to be cooking in Italy. We have all of these stations, and we do a demo so that you know what to cook, and then you guys get really fancy and make your own everything. Okay. So give it a pinch of salt and pepper.
Like a bam?
Give it
one pinch?
Give it more than that.
Okay. I need explicit instructions here.
And this is when you really, I can't measure salt. I have to feel it. That's good.
Okay.
I think. But we're going to taste it at the end in case it's not.
Okay.
Okay.
I think we're running out of time.
Last shortcut, what is this? Pesto. Store-bought pesto. You guys,
easy.
You can use this when you're in a pinch on a weeknight. You can make your own, but like you can also just do this, okay? It's gonna be delicious, and then mix that all together.
Okay.
Last ingredient, Parmesan cheese.
I can actually do all of this.
Like, how easy is this, right? Yeah, do you want some?
No, you did say cheese.
I
cheese
did.
Was
I did.
Boom. Boom. All right. Oh my God, this is so good. And so intuitively, did all these ingredients just come together for you?
I'll tell you, this is what my intuition says, okay? Your intuition might say, I don't like artichokes, whatever. I don't want sun-dried tomatoes. I want real, whole tomatoes. You can, permission to substitute, permission to feel your own intuition.
Okay.
And if you don't know what your intuition is saying, just try.
Okay.
And that's
what I do with
learn.
everything in the pantry. I'm like, I think my intuition's saying to eat that. I think it wants to eat that.
Should we try it?
We should, because we are running out of time, and I want everybody to not only try this, but I want them to join us in Italy.
Yes!
Hannah, thank you so much for joining me today. Okay, I'm going to eat on camera. Here we go.
Cheers!
Cheers! Ciao. No, grazie. Grazie.
No, buon appetito!
Okay, I'm done. That was so good. That's really good. Thank you so much for teaching us all about joy in the kitchen in a totally different way. I love this. This is so good. Everybody in the audience gets some. Woo! And now it's time to talk to some peeps on the streets on this week's What is your name?
Payal,
How old are you?
9.
9. What's your biggest dream, would you say, in your life?
I want to become an artist.
You get to practice a lot?
No. After exams, I get to.
Okay. Well, I hope you become a big, famous artist, and then I'll one day be able to buy your painting. What do you think about that?
Nice.
Nice. Okay, great. So what is your name?
My name is Divita.
Divita? How old are you, Divita?
5.
5 years old. Are you a grown-up now?
I'm almost 6.
Wow, when's your birthday?
20 April.
Ooh, are you excited to be 6?
Yeah.
What's the one thing you're gonna do when you're 6 years old that you're not doing now?
I don't know.
Because you haven't turned 6 yet. So what is something that makes you super happy?
When my parents love me.
Thank you so much. See, you did perfect.
Goodbye.
Thanks so much for joining me today. I will see you next time on Good Morning Joy, where every day starts with a smile. But don't go anywhere. We've got this week's Soul Hugs. Welcome to Kana Shantivanam, the global headquarters of Heartfulness. I am so excited to take you on an in-venture, a journey to the center. Come along as we explore all parts of Heartfulness in hopes to be able to connect you back home. Welcome to Soul Hugs. Meet Kamlesh D. Patel, affectionately known to many as Daaji. He is a multiple best-selling author and the global leader of Heartfulness, which is a meditation practiced by over 1 million meditators worldwide.
Like Gandhian principle, Gandhi is adored all across the globe for his non-violent principle. But to me, it's wonderful, but at the same time, it's a limited principle. Not to hurt someone, it's okay. Nothing so big about it. But to become compassionate is far more advanced than being non-violent. You're not hurting someone by being non-violent, but by being compassionate, you are comforting someone. And if you can become more empathetic, kind, and reflect your compassion in action,
Right.
but then you are alleviating someone's pain. So non-violence, okay, it's okay in the beginning. But to become compassionate, kind, empathetic, and stretching out yourself and helping them, see, this is the evolutionary pattern of a human heart.
Do you feel that it's hard for people to be compassionate because they haven't learned how to be that way with themselves?
Yes. Being compassionate does not also mean that someone else can take advantage of you. Don't let anybody take advantage of you. Don't try to change or transform your enemies. They have decided that in your heart, you don't consider them as your enemies. You consider them as your friend.